Welcome back to Town and Country Off Grid. In this episode, we thought we'd talk about some of the challenges that we faced. As everybody knows, going off grid represents a unique set of challenges. Because it's Lisa and I, we've managed to hit every single challenge so far. We think we're doing okay. We've managed to surmount every challenge we've gotten, but it always seems that when we get one done, two more crop up. It's sort of a one step forward, two step, or three steps back sort of thing. We got the water running, as you saw in one of our previous videos, after a long battle trying to get that thing primed and replacing the pump and all that good stuff. Ended up having to excavate the well, put a whole new line in. You guys saw that in the previous video. And of course, after disturbing all the soil, the water was pretty muddy. It was pretty murky, sandy, almost like mud. We tried to let it settle out for a couple of days, thinking that might help. It didn't. So I've pumped the well dry, let it refill. It did get a little better, but it's not great. It's still murky, and it does have a smell to it. It has like an iron, sort of a metal smell, and it's got that tinge, sort of an orange brown tinge. We've done some looking into it, and we're pretty sure it's because of the high iron content. I don't know if it makes a difference. We've got a lot of granite here, a lot of exposed rock on the property. Does that mean that we're more likely to have iron? I'm not sure. We've sent the water test away like we showed in the previous video. We're waiting for the results on that. We had to mail it away. So we're waiting for that. In the meantime, I've replaced the filter. We've got a Rain Fresh pre-filter, 5 micron pre-filter, and then the UV light treatment system. Replaced the filter in that. It did make a little bit of difference, but not much. So we're waiting on that. We do have running water, but we're still having to use the bottled water for drinking and for washing dishes and stuff like that. Hand in hand with the water is the washer and dryer setup. Due to space being limited here in the cabin, we've got a stacking kit. Now I've installed the stacking kit. The dryer goes on top of the washer. And of course, there was no plumbing existing there, so I've had to temporarily wrangle some hot and cold running water for the washing machine, which is going to be tucked in that corner. Now, the other thing you can see here on the back, this is a gas-powered dryer, but it was natural gas. What we're going to have here is propane. We're not going to have natural gas out here in the middle of nowhere. So in order to do that, thanks to YouTube, I had to take the dryer apart and had to replace the orifice. That's the natural gas orifice, the small hole in it. We had to take this out and replace it with a propane one, which has a much bigger orifice. And of course, that involves taking the top of the dryer off, taking the face off, taking the front off, the door off, and getting all the way down to the lower right-hand corner in order to do that. So that was fun. We got that installed, got ready to go, gas line on the back, and now I still have to run propane from the crawl space to the bathroom. And we do have the propane tanks installed, as you'll see later. We've got 3, I think they're 400-pound tanks installed just on the outside of the kitchen. There was an existing service there. I've got to replace that. The line is too damaged and too banged up. And there's an old regulator on it. The propane company doesn't want me to use that one. They've given me a new one. In order for them to come and fill up the tanks, we have to get that line fixed and then have to do a pressure test. They want to see 15 PSI for 15 minutes and just a tag on it saying it's been tested. Then they'll come and fill up our propane. Before I get to the pressure test, of course, I've got to follow the rat's nest of propane lines that are under the crawl space. The previous owner had them going everywhere, had space heaters popping up on the floor. They had the range in here. There's another line going out under the deck. I don't even know what that's for. I don't even know if it's open. So I've got to see if that needs to be capped. Anybody that's ever worked with propane probably understands the challenge of getting the right fittings. I thought it was just as easy as going to Home Depot and getting a handful of assorted 3/8 and 1/2 inch fittings. It's not. I spent a lot of money, came back with a pocket full of fittings that I can't even use. They don't fit. So there's another challenge. I'm going to have to reach out to an actual HVAC company, like Wolseley or something like that, and get the proper fitting. So that, of course, is another trip into town, another step backwards. And continuing on with the subject of propane, right now we're only using wood heat, which is a challenge on its own. We're doing pretty well there. Of course, as you know, we've got to go and pick up truckloads of wood as we need them instead of getting all of our wood delivered all in one shot. It's just the cost is too great to get that done this late in the season. So what we'd like to do is to have space heaters installed. So we've purchased a couple. This isn't part of any promotional video or anything, but the stuff that Lisa's found online. We've got a little heater here. I think it's 8,000 BTUs, and we're going to put that in the bathroom. It's usually pretty chilly in the bathroom. And then we've got another 20,000 BTU one here, which I think we're going to put on the outside wall. But of course, in order to get those up and running, we've got to get the lines certified, and we have to get the tanks filled. Okay, so more challenges, of course, living off grid. We've talked about this before as well, as the solar system and running the batteries. Big challenge this time of year, even though we've upgraded. We've added 3 more batteries. We had the original 3, and we went and got 3 more, which has upped our capacity tremendously. We've got 600 amp hours of power. The problem is when the sun doesn't shine, the batteries don't charge. We've purchased a larger generator. We got it used, and it's sitting in the backyard, and I've temporarily just run a line up here into the inverter, and that's what this is here. This will help us to charge the batteries when we've got the cloudy days. The reason I'm telling you about this setup and keeping in line with the challenges, if you read the manual that comes with these batteries, it basically doesn't tell you anything about adding more. You just plunk them down, you hook them up in parallel the way we've done, and off you go. That's all well and good. Batteries are happy. Problem is, this thing's not. The inverter is very sensitive to communication changes. I added the other 3 batteries, fired everything up, and we had 0 power. We had absolutely nothing. All these batteries come with little dip switches, which tells the communication cable, that's the black stuff here, which battery is the master, which ones are the slave, and in what order they go. And that has to come in here to the brains of the operation in order for it to discharge the batteries. Just plunking them in and leaving them on their default setting, like the manual says, didn't work. Tried a bunch of things. Tried to get a hold of tech support. And of course, it's a Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock type operation, and we were stuck. We had no power aside from the deltas that we use for other, like the TV and things like that. So we managed to get a hold of, Lisa found online a 1-800 number for Lux Power Tech. And because it's a South African company, we were a little worried that wasn't going to help us out at all. We ended up getting a hold of somebody. I'm not sure where he was, but he put us into a group chat on WhatsApp with actually a technician that was living in Hawaii. And with the Wi-Fi dongle that comes with the inverter, he had me hook up to the internet, which I wasn't before. I didn't feel the need for it. He managed to get us hooked up. I gave him the serial number. He accessed everything inside the inverter online, found out what was going on and what was wrong, and then gave us the proper dip switch locations. And after a couple of restarts, the inverter recognized all the batteries. So now we have full access to all of our capacity. What we'd really like to see now is about a week of sunshine so that we can get these batteries up to 100% where they haven't been yet. We keep floating around 30%, 40%. Sometimes it goes down to as low as 15%. And then, of course, we have to run our little generator for our domestic loads and try to run the bigger generator in the backyard to keep these topped up. But that's a job and a half. Ideally, what you're going to want to do is have a large generator, something like 12,000 kilowatts, maybe even bigger. The one we have out there is a 6,500, and I don't think it's not doing the job. It's just not doing it. It's not enough power.
Despite the challenges of off-grid living, we wouldn't trade it for anything. The Peace and tranquility make every hardship worthwhile. We're happier, more connected to nature, and have a deeper appreciation for life's simple joys. Out here, time slows down and every moment feels more intentional.